Okay, so this is my spoiler-free review of It Chapter 2. Now, if you've already seen the movie, you can check out, I also have a spoiler review of It Chapter 2. So, jumping into this, I loved the first It. I loved it so much that I actually read the full book this summer. And if you don't know, It Chapter 2 and It Chapter 1, the movies, are all in one big book that's 1,200 pages long by Stephen King. And I was actually very disappointed with the book after loving the first movie. And what I realized was, wow, all the really good stuff from this book are in that first movie. And that made me worry about the second movie because I was like, well, they kind of left a lot of the sludge here. And I wonder how they're going to address that. And they just brought us the sludge. And it was disappointing like it was with the book for me. Unfortunately, the adult storylines in the book are not as interesting as these kids' storylines. And the movie has to now eat its cake and suffer through that because they clearly made a decision for the first movie to have the best stuff in it. It really did make the movie a hit. It made it more exciting based off a book that could be very slow at times. And now they made a sequel, and now they had to figure out, okay, well, how are we going to kind of get through this weaker material? And it really just didn't figure it out. It was weak. The CGI in here is disappointingly bad, especially for a big studio like Warner Brothers producing this, because the first one was such a big hit. So, okay, put all the money into this, and it didn't have that type of quality. Another thing was you'll see there's de-aging effects put on the kids in flashbacks, which just seems very weird and also cheap in the way they did it. Makes you feel like watching a video game and takes you out of it a bit. It's also not that scary, but the first one wasn't either. But that first one had a lot of creepiness to it and an eerie vibe throughout. And this just felt corny, cheesy. The timing was off with the jumps. You knew when everything's coming. So please prepare to be disappointed in that. And even, I hate to say it, but Bill Skarsgård's Pennywise here felt not as in sync with himself as he was in the first movie. It just didn't feel as consistent. There was just weird moments with him. I think the whole movie felt like that. I think Bill Hader did amazing. He did a solid job, but he's getting a little too much love. Like people are saying it's Oscar worthy. I don't think that role built that way. I thought he just was really good. I thought it was perfectly cast, the movie, especially the actor who plays Mike Hanlon. The one who plays Eddie's pretty good too, and they look just like their kid counterparts. But I did not like the casting of James McAvoy and Jessica Chastain, the two biggest stars here. Jessica Chastain does not bring the charm that Beverly has at all. She plays Jessica Chastain in this movie. James McAvoy has a weird thing where he just was miscast. He's always a great actor to me. He always gives it his all, but he doesn't translate well from the kid of Bill. Feels like a different person, especially when they're actually in scenes together with flashbacks. And I think that he has his voice from Split. That voice slips in here a lot, and it feels so unnecessary and off to put in here. He did go with the stutter, but again, just a miscast. He is not Bill to me at all, where everyone else was. And Jessica Chastain, really bad at the screaming here. Again, Scream Queen. Talent is very underrated in Hollywood. It is a skill, and she did not do that well. You just didn't buy it, and it just felt lazy. So that was a problem. It is a mess of a movie, and it just feels like it's trying to get through it all and get it over with. And there's no room for things to breathe. And somehow it's one of the slowest movies I've ever seen, which is just impressive in its own right. And I really thought this movie was going to be at least good, but it was bad. And I think that it has moments of trying to do the Marvel humor thing, which every movie has to do now for some reason, because they see it's a formula and people go see it for that. But I just wish it stayed in its own ballpark and did what worked from the first movie. Keep its tone. It was a huge hit. Why would you try to now emulate other big blockbusters? I just do not make sense of any of this, especially even with some of the music choices they do. The humor falls flat a lot. That was really disappointing. And there's no suspense here. There's no tension. I did not feel it anywhere. That's a problem with the directing for sure. But again, they're working with some really weak book material in my opinion. And they really also just didn't hold their weight either. Directing, writing, some acting here and there. But some of the editing was good. Some of the editing was sharp. I like the transitions they used to go from time periods, but overall, I'm not going to spoil anything, but man, you got to lower your expectations down a lot. And me even just lowering my expectations, which they were going to see this movie, I was excited as hell because I love the first one, but I knew what I had read in the book and I knew what I was ready to see, but I was like, maybe they can at least make it decent and see what they're doing here and make it entertaining, but they just did not. And it just, save your money. It's a 2 hour and 45-minute movie. Do not see it in theaters. Trust me. It is not even close to the first one, and it's not what you're expecting either as just a movie. If you're there for comedy, it's not funny. If you're there for horror, it's not scary. If you're there for creepiness, eeriness, and heart, which the first one had, you can say all those are not in this movie. So it's a mess. It's a bad movie. So I'm giving it a 5.5. Wait till it comes out on HBO or Netflix. And once you do see the movie, definitely check out my spoiler review. Maybe we'll see eye to eye, or maybe you love it. Who knows? And let me know down below if you plan on seeing it, what your thoughts are on it, what you're expecting. I'd love to hear that. And please subscribe to my channel. You don't want to miss one of my reviews. I do movie, TV reviews, and I do celebrity interviews as well. And please follow me at Steve Varley1 on Twitter and Instagram for more of me. And I'll see you next time.